Sitting patiently on its launch pad in the Central Asian desert, Soyuz MS-25 is ready once again to begin its journey to the International Space Station, and we're in the final minutes of the countdown. You are looking live at Launch Pad 6, Site 31 at the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, where that Soyuz 2.1A booster stands fully fueled once again, ready for launch to send an American astronaut, a Roscosmos cosmonaut, and a spaceflight participant from Belarus into orbit, this time on a two-day journey to reach their destination, the International Space Station. Good morning from Mission Control in Houston and the International Space Station Flight Control Room here at the Johnson Space Center. Countdown clocks are ticking backward for the launch of the Soyuz MS-25 spacecraft atop its Soyuz booster at 7:36 and 10 seconds a.m. Central Time, 8:36 and 10 seconds a.m. Eastern Time, 5:36 and 10 seconds p.m. Baikonur Time. At the launch site, you can see that the gantry arms are spreading. They'll move into a horizontal position relative to the launch vehicle that was fully fueled several hours ago by launch engineers in Baikonur, a process that was completed without any incident. The launch control team in Baikonur reports all systems are go for launch, with no issues being worked as the countdown enters its final phase. And you're looking inside the descent module of the Soyuz vehicle at NASA astronaut Tracy Dyson, who in just 34 minutes and 20 seconds will begin her third flight into space, joined on this mission to the International Space Station by Roscosmos cosmonaut and Soyuz commander Oleg Novitskiy and spaceflight participant Marina Vasilevskaya of Belarus, the first Belarusian to fly in space. Today, unlike the first launch attempt on Thursday, because of orbital mechanics, results in a 34-orbit two-day journey to the International Space Station with a launch window of 25 seconds in duration, a launch into a phase angle of 201.8 degrees, a rather wide corridor because of the long phasing required for this Soyuz to reach the International Space Station. Docking is scheduled now on Monday at 10:09 a.m. Central Time, 11:09 a.m. Eastern Time, to the Prishal node module on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. In Baikonur, the temperature is 48 degrees Fahrenheit, partly cloudy skies for today's launch attempt. Once the hatches are open between the newly arrived Soyuz and the station on Monday, Dyson, Novitskiy, and Vasilevskaya will be greeted by Station Commander Oleg Kononenko of Roscosmos and his crewmates, Alexander Grabenkin and Nikolai Chub, and NASA astronauts Laurel O'Hara, Matt Dominic, Mike Barrett, and Jeanette Epps. After 12 days on board, enabling Vasilevskaya to conduct experiments on behalf of Belarus researchers, Novitskiy, Vasilevskaya, and O'Hara will depart in the Soyuz MS-24 spacecraft, the new departure date April 6th, heading for a parachute-assisted landing on the steppe of Kazakhstan. Dyson will remain on board the station through September, returning home at that time with Kononenko and Chub on Soyuz MS-25. Dyson will have spent 6 months in space on this, her third flight into space, while Kononenko and Chub will come home after completing a full year on orbit. We're at the T-minus 32-minute mark in the countdown. Again, all systems are reported go, no issues reported for today's launch attempt. This launch for Dyson to the space station mirrors that of Roscosmos cosmonaut Alexander Grabenkin, who launched to the station as part of the SpaceX Crew 8 Dragon earlier this year, providing a reciprocal crew exchange capability, maintaining safe and continuous space station operations. The initial attempt to launch Soyuz MS-25 on Thursday was scrubbed at the T-minus 20-second mark when the automatic launch sequencer cut off the countdown. The crew was never in any danger as the Soyuz booster was safed, enabling the crew to be extracted from the Soyuz within an hour, after which they returned to their cosmonaut hotel crew quarters to brush up on some final training. Engineers in Baikonur determined that the cause of the scrub was a low voltage rating in the booster's first stage electrical system. Batteries were changed and retested Friday morning, setting the stage for today's launch attempt.
To operator 5. The service tower has been made horizontal. Copy. Oh. Evacuation into the safe zone was completed for the personnel. Copy.
As you look at the Soyuz MS-25 on the launch pad at Baikonur, approaching the T-minus 30-minute mark. Here in Mission Control in Houston, we're about to do a shift handover from Orbit 1 to Orbit 2. The Orbit 1 team has been on console throughout the course of the overnight hours and just finished supervising the flawless docking of the SpaceX Dragon cargo ship to the Harmony module's Zenith docking port. That occurred less than an hour ago. That cargo Dragon delivering some 3 tons of supplies and science equipment to the International Space Station that will be on board for about a 5-week delivery mission. This live view of the Soyuz MS-25 on the launch pad at Baikonur, again liftoff scheduled for 7:36 and 10 seconds a.m. Central Time, 5:36 and 10 seconds p.m. in Baikonur. Atop that booster, strapped into the seats of the descent module, are NASA's Tracy Dyson, Oleg Novitskiy of Roscosmos, and spaceflight participant Marina Vasilevskaya of Belarus. Novitskiy, as the Soyuz commander, is in the center seat of the Soyuz MS-25. Dyson is seated to his right. You've seen scenes of Dyson from interior cameras. Vasilevskaya is seated to the left of Novitskiy.
To Operator 1. All the preparations have been complete, and the service personnel has been evacuated into...
Once the crew climbed aboard the Soyuz and strapped into their respective seats, there were leak checks that were performed on their Sokol launch and entry suits. Everything has checked out in great shape. And as you can hear from time to time, there is that traditional music being piped up to the crew in the descent module. That is traditional to help them relax in the final stages of a countdown for launch.
Copy. You are go to sign off.
And now this footage that was recorded earlier showing some of the activities again on a partly cloudy day in Baikonur. The launch day began several hours ago as the crew departed their Cosmonaut Hotel crew quarters to traditional farewell music and boarded a bus for the 40-minute ride to the integration and suit-up facility at Building 254 inside the Baikonur Cosmodrome.
Thank you, thank you.
And as you see, a large crowd of well-wishers 2 days after that first launch attempt, still on the scene, greeting the crew and wishing them best wishes as they boarded the bus to head out to their suit-up facility. And as usual, the buses, the prime crew in the first bus, the backup crew in the second bus, left the parking lot outside the Cosmonaut Hotel for this 40-minute journey into the Cosmodrome to the Site 254 suit-up facility. After arriving at the integration building, each crew member underwent final medical exams, suited up in their SOCA launch and entry suits, and entered this room, divided from their friends and families and officials by a protective pane of glass to maintain quarantine, and conducted leak checks on their suits one by one. Tracy Dyson was first into the mock-up of the Soyuz seat. There's Novitskiy on the left, Vasilevskaya on the right. Each crew member, one by one, underwent these pressure checks to make sure that their suits were free of any leaks. These leak checks typically take about 20 minutes to complete, as one by one this ensures that the SOCA launch and entry suits are airtight and ready to support the launch by the Soyuz MS-25 into orbit. And you see part of the crowd of family members and well-wishers on the other side of that protective pane of glass. As you watch this video that was captured earlier today before the crew headed for the launch pad, the current status, we're at T-minus 23 minutes and counting to the launch of Soyuz MS-25, the crew aboard the descent module of the Soyuz vehicle.
There was a little less we had to do this morning.
Good.
It was good. And the other thing we did, we kind of made our own tradition. We signed the door to our room, and we usually put the date. Well, we put today's date underneath the other date, so so now we have 2 dates.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be it. We're pulling socks. We're going today.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, they cut us off like we weren't even like 3 minutes. The familiarity, the fact that we're all. We woke up with a pretty good vibe this morning, so
Yeah,
it's good.
okay, all right.
It's the grass at our home, so it's a very nostalgic song about being in space and into it. So.
Oh yeah, energizing.
Tammy's got a good song too.
What? I'm talking to the mic. I can't hear you.
No, I just said Tammy actually shared a song with us. She sang a song for us.
Oh.
But I don't think we're going to get it from out of her right now.
They might have iPods, but I'm kind of hoping that Marina will sing for us. She's got a beautiful
You're going to
voice.
have to sing too, though, probably.
If she runs out of songs, I'll back her up. She did.
Yeah.
Don't say national anthem, because that was scary.
I saw your most recent video.
Heels? You gonna go the same place?
Just follow Ksenia.
Yeah.
Go wherever she tells us.
Yeah. You're safest that way. How are you doing, Ksenia? You good? Cool. Good. We had hot chocolate this morning, so
I bet that was good.
it was tasty. We hadn't had hot chocolate this morning.
Привет.
Здравствуйте всем. Спасибо, что
Доченька, ты молодец. По тебе видим, что крепишься, готова, настроена на пол.
Tracy Dyson, there you saw exchanging words with her husband,
Absolutely ready. Yes, today
saying we have a good vibe for today.
stay this way.
весь корабль.
I'd just like to board the capsule
Командир сказал, прошли боевую тренировку.
and
Самую настоящую.
fly. Our commander
Сегодня уже будет всё.
told us that we have already been through a dress rehearsal and everything should be good today.
Спасибо, мама, я слышала. Спасибо большое. Я тоже вас очень
And
люблю.
I love you so very much.
Вы моя большая семья.
You are my large
Спасибо
family.
большое Академии наук Беларуси,
Thank you.
что вы с нами, что вы нас поддерживаете.
Thank you for supporting us.
Очень приятно, правда, ваша поддержка.
It's such a great pleasure to have your support. And it's a great experience.
Конечно, прилететь быстро, это, с одной стороны, хорошо.
Well, on the one hand, it's great to take shorter time to fly to the station, but on the other hand, now we will have more time to adapt to the microgravity and to admire our beautiful planet.
As you know, this is by my husband, George.
Hello. You guys are very quiet. I have a question. Do you have anything for April's Fool's Day ready in your pocket? Well, maybe. Everything's been great. All is well. All right, well, see you soon.
Счастливенько.
Goodbye.
How many times have you had a launch delay before, Oleg? Is this your first? Сколько задержка?
Первый раз на перенос.
It's the first time ever that we have our launch rescheduled. Well, I had it many times before, but for us it was the first time. It's okay. Everything is good.
Ken Bowersox, NASA's Associate Administrator for Space Operations, having an opportunity to talk to Oleg Novitskiy, and then Roscosmos, Belarus, and NASA managers talk to the crew.
Did you sleep? How are you feeling? We are rested. Everything is great. And the weather is better today. It's kind of sunny. Right. So everything will be beautiful. Well, you'll take a little longer to get to the ISS, but I think that for those who are first-time flyers, it would be great to admire the Earth. And we wish you all the best. Have a great mission. Be quiet, be strong, and we love you. We will be waiting for you on the ground.
Then, of course, the familiar scene of the crew members leaving that Site 254 integration building. This allows Novitskiy, the Soyuz commander, to report that he and his crewmates were ready to proceed to the launch pad. Final farewells as the crew boarded the bus for the trip out to Launch Site 31, a trip that ultimately took about an hour to complete. And the buses leaving the parking lot of the 254 integration building, that suit-up facility. And the buses arriving at the launch pad with the rocket already fully fueled. The three crew members escorted to the stairs, the stairwell at the base of the Soyuz 2.1A booster. They climbed a few stairs, waved goodbye to well-wishers, and entered the elevator there for the ride to the top of the Soyuz rocket to board their spacecraft, which they've now been aboard for about 2 hours or so. And there is the elevator carrying the three crew members to the access to their Soyuz booster and the access port to which they enter the Soyuz MS-25 spacecraft, which is encapsulated in the upper stage of the Soyuz. And we are back live now with a view of Soyuz 2.1A with the crew on top of that vehicle, as we are now at T-minus 13 minutes and counting. At the time of launch, at 7:36 and 10 seconds a.m. Central Time, 8:36 and 10 seconds a.m. Eastern Time, the International Space Station and its 7 crew members will be flying 262 statute miles over the South Pacific, west of South America. The key milestones on the ascent for the 3 crew members: after liftoff, first stage separation of the liquid-fueled solid rockets will take place at the 1-minute 58-second mark. The launch shroud jettison that encapsulates the actual capsule in which the crew is strapped in will occur at the 2-minute 33-second mark into ascent. At the 4-minute 37-second mark, we'll have second stage shutdown and separation. The third stage engine on the Soyuz booster will then fire for 4 minutes and 9 seconds, with third stage shutdown at the 8-minute 46-second mark, followed 3 seconds later by third stage separation. The automatic command will then be given to deploy the Soyuz spacecraft's solar arrays and navigational antennas, and the chase will be on to reach the International Space Station on Monday, resulting in a docking to the Prishal node module on the Earth-facing side of the station's Russian segment, docking on Monday scheduled at 10:09 a.m. Central Time, 11:09 a.m. Eastern Time. The NASA delegation attending today's launch has actually been in Baikonur since Sunday, a day before this Soyuz booster rolled out to its launch pad. With the NASA delegation is NASA Public Affairs Officer Leah Cheshire, who filed this report a short time ago.
Hi, Rob. We're here at the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, standing by for the launch of NASA astronaut Tracy Dyson and the Soyuz MS-25 crew. We are at the viewing site just a couple of miles from the launch pad. This is where we were a couple of nights ago when we were expecting launch on the initial attempt. Of course, there was some surprise when we had a scrub. However, the NASA contingent is still here along with Tracy's family and friends, and we are here to support her, and we're really excited to see her launch tonight. The temperature now is about mid-50s, so a little bit warmer than we saw a couple of days ago, and the crew is currently aboard the Soyuz spacecraft. Now, in the last couple of days, they've been reviewing their 34-orbit rendezvous procedures. Initially, they were expecting a 2-orbit rendezvous, so there are some additional procedures that they needed to look over to make sure they were prepared for this new phasing. So we are here standing by and looking forward to seeing Soyuz take to the skies tonight. With that, I will send it back to you, Rob.
Thank you very much, Leah. We are at T-minus 9 minutes, 27 seconds and counting to the launch of Soyuz MS-25. Two key milestones that will be coming up in the final minute of the countdown. You can see at the bottom of your screen there are two umbilical towers that are buttressed up against the side of the Soyuz booster. The first of those two umbilicals will retract at about the T-minus 30-second mark in the countdown. And then the key moment, the second of those two umbilicals, will retract at about the T-minus 15 seconds mark. That will initiate the automatic launch sequence that will trigger the ignition of the first stage engines. That is what did not occur on Thursday at the T-minus 20-second mark, resulting in that launch abort that we went through. Although the system did exactly what it was designed to do, it safed the vehicle, allowing the crew to be safely extracted less than an hour after the countdown was halted. So we'll keep a close eye on the retraction of those two umbilicals in the final minute of the countdown. We're approaching T-minus 8 minutes and counting. At the T-minus 7-minute mark, pre-launch operations will be complete. The Soyuz booster will be declared ready for launch by the launch conductor at the blockhouse in Baikonur, and all telemetry will have been received from the rocket, indicating that the primary and backup systems are set to support liftoff. As is the case with any launch to the International Space Station, the launch is precisely timed for the moment when the Earth's rotation places the Baikonur Cosmodrome in the plane or corridor of the orbit of the space station, which is inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator. And because today's orbital mechanics requires a 2-day rendezvous instead of a 2-orbit rendezvous, with basically a 3-hour journey from launch to docking, there is a larger corridor for which the Soyuz to enter to begin its chase to catch up to the International Space Station.
Copy.
Uzbeki, this is launch lit. 1 minute
The measurement
readiness.
system is
the
ready.
Control is on board. Everything is according to the schedule, and I will tell you everything about the launch sequence. Copy. We are ready for launch. Everything is nominal on board.
Thanks for watching Space Wonders 319. Hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing space wonders.